Good morning. Welcome to the August 26th, 2015 Assembly Appropriations Committee hearing. We do not have a quorum yet, so we'll start as a subcommittee. First up,
Senator Block.
Senator Block.
We get to start with the fireworks.
Mr. Block, you have one bill, SB 538, enjoys a due pass recommendation. Please begin.
Sure, thank you. For Mr. Chair, members, today I'm presenting SB 538, which authorizes naturopathic doctors to independently prescribe a very limited number of medications. As your analysis indicates, the costs of the bill are minor and absorbable and will be paid for by the Naturopathic Medical Committee, which is funded solely by licensing fees of naturopathic doctors. Now, if the chair wishes, I'm happy to review policy implications of the bill, but that's already been done in policy committees both in the Senate and in the Assembly, and policy committees in both houses have, on a bipartisan nature, supported the bill. So in terms of policy, both houses have vetted the bill and found that the policy was sound. With regard to the issues before appropriations, again, all costs are minor, absorbable, and will be paid for by the Naturopathic Medical Committee, according to your analysis. Here with me to testify or answer any question you may have are Dr. Greta D'Amico, a naturopathic doctor, and Rebecca Mitchell, who's executive officer of the California Naturopathic Medicine Committee.
Thank you. Please proceed.
As Senator Block said, I'm Dr. Greta D'Amico from Auburn, here to answer any questions if necessary and in support of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you so
Good morning.
much.
Rebecca Mitchell, Executive Officer of the Naturopathic Medicine Committee under the Department of Consumer Affairs. We are in full support of SB 538. Fiscal impact from this bill would be minor and absorbable, and we are ready for any implementations on SB 538. Thank you.
Thank you.
Catherine Austin Scott, on behalf of the California Naturopathic Doctors Association, also here in support.
Great. Any individuals from the public in support? Witnesses in opposition? And I'd like to remind witnesses on the opposition that this is a policy committee, so please try to stick to fiscal committee. Shh, don't tell anybody about the policy side. Let's start with please proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Juan Thomas from the California Medical Association. So I guess my comments will be brief. We do think there could possibly be significant costs based on the fact that they're removing physician supervision for prescribing Schedule 5 drugs for naturopaths would require the Naturopathic Board to create a standard of care on how to do that. They have said in the past in committee that one of the reasons they would like this was to wean, to be able to alter medications that are prescribed by primary care physicians or any other physician and surgeon. Seems to us that in order to do that there would have to be a standard of care procedure set in place by the Naturopathic Board to do that. So that would take some measure of expertise and reaching out to people, and that would require costs. Absent that, we are opposed to the idea of naturopaths being able to prescribe medications without physician supervision. We're concerned that the bill does not include the requirement for a naturopathic doctor who does alter or change or reduce a patient's prescription to reach out to their primary care physician to have that conversation. There's no requirement for that in the bill. For that reason and others, we're opposed to the bill.
Thank you.
Jennifer Simoes with the Medical Board of California. We're also opposed for policy reasons, mainly just because we have consumer protection concerns. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a quorum, so we're going to call roll real fast. Go ahead.
Gomez.
Here.
Bigelow.
Present.
Bloom. Bonta. Calderon. Chang. Gordon.
Here.
Eggman. Gallagher. Garcia. Holden.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Quirk.
Here.
Rendon. Wagner. Weber. Wood.
And
you
I'm
so much.
Angelica Gonzalez with Kaiser Permanente in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Alice Kessler on behalf of the California Academy of Family Physicians, also in opposition for the reasons stated.
Thank you. Any other individuals in opposition? Department of Finance?
Jacqueline Wong Hernandez, Department of Finance. We're neutral on the provisions of this bill, and we agree with the minor and absorbable assessment.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, we need a motion. We have a motion by Holden, a second by Gordon. And we're going to do a roll call on this bill since members are on different positions. Yeah.
Gomez.
Aye.
Gomez, aye. Bigelow.
No.
Bigelow, no. Gordon.
Aye.
Gordon, aye. Bonta. Calderon. Chang. Eggman. Gallagher. Garcia. Holden. Holden, aye. Jones. Jones, aye. Quirk.
No.
Quirk, no. Rendon. Wagner.
No.
Wagner, no. Weber.
No.
Weber, no. Wood. Wood, aye.
You have 5 votes. You're short 4, and as members trickle in, catch them, I guess.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
think
Chair.
that's a good
Appreciate
advice.
it.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
There's only one way to play it. Let's all vote.
Senator Monning. Oh, no, yet not. I need to make a little housekeeping announcement. Assemblymember Rich Gordon to replace Assemblymember Tom Daly for the Appropriations Committee hearing today, August 26th only. Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon.
Yes, and then this.
Mr. Monning, you have one bill, SB 475, with a due pass recommendation. Please begin.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Senate Bill 475 would require prospective continuing care retirement community contracts, CCRCs, which condition entrance fee repayment upon resale of the unit to have at least 20% returned to the resident or 10% for an estate within
Move the
120 days. Any remaining balance for prospective contracts after an extended period of time still not repaid would be subject to fixed interest rates. I've recently reached an agreement with the California Association of Continuing Care Retirement Communities to remove its opposition by pushing back interest rates. With this amendment, I will take on the Assembly floor, and the bill will require after 180 days, interest will be set at 4%. After 240 days, interest will be set at 6%. SB 475 also establishes a complaint process for residents or their estates that have waited for more than a year for repayment and gives the Department of Social Services authority to investigate and require repayment if the provider is determined not to be meeting good faith efforts to resell the vacant unit. As the analysis points out, these costs are minor and absorbable, partly because the Department does not anticipate a high volume of one-year complaints after implementation of the bill, and partly because the Department can recoup investigative costs for providers determined to be at fault. For some contracts, current law conditions a CCRC entrance fee repayment on the resale of a unit, and this has resulted in some seniors or their estates experiencing significant delays in the repayment of entrance fees. Many of the residents of these facilities members are retired seniors, many retired school teachers, military. They've usually sold a primary residence to mobilize the resources to access these retirement communities. In addition to a commitment to push back interest rates, I've already taken significant amendments to address the opposition's concerns with the bill. My focus has and will continue to be making meaningful consumer protections for residents and their estates, and these protections have the potential to make this model of care more attractive for future residents. I have two witnesses in support. Mr. Chair, with your permission, brief testimony in support. Thank you.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, members, my name is Margaret Griffin. I'm a 10-year resident of a continuing care retirement community and president of the California Continuing Care Residents Association. We're happy to sponsor this bill. Hope you will vote aye this morning. Thank you.
Ignacio Hernandez on behalf of the sponsors and also on behalf of the Consumer Federation of California, and just available to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Individuals from the public in support.
Rebecca Gonzalez, National Association of Social Workers, California chapter in support.
Thank you.
Morgan Carvajal with the Consumer Federation of California, also in support.
Thank you so much. Seeing no other witnesses in support, individuals from the public in opposition or witnesses in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Peter Kellison on behalf of Leading Age California, which represents the not-for-profit continuing care retirement community industry in California. Leading Age, as I said, represents not-for-profits that are largely faith-based or fraternal-based organizations, and we've been working with the Senator. We appreciate the effort he has been making. I think that we have conceptual agreement that providing a mechanism that will ensure that providers act in good faith and have best practices to ensure that estates or residents are repaid in a reasonable time frame is something that we can agree to. We appreciate the amendment that the author is taking that would push back the interest rate imposition to 6 months and 8 months. Currently in the current market, because the resale of these units are, in a sense, they follow the real estate market. In a good market, they resell relatively quickly. 6 months is what the average is now. In a bad market, they do not sell so quickly, despite the efforts of the providers to resell the units. So we unfortunately must continue a position of oppose on what are largely technical issues at this point, but they're issues that have arisen from recent amendments that have been taken into the bill that define that the interest is compounded monthly, which we believe should be a simple interest rather than a compounded interest. There are 3 communities that are ready to open open early next year. They are in Los Altos, in Playa Vista, and in Altadena. And those communities have financial models that have been based on current law. We'd like to find some way to ensure that, at least for the first wave of residents that have already put deposits down or are contemplating moving in, that they be that the financial model be under current law rather than under this new law. And some technical issues with the grievance process that is outlined. Other than that, we think that we can reach consensus and would like to do so.
Thank you.
Chair and members, Ashley Satude on behalf of the California Association of Retirement Communities, Continuing Care Retirement Communities. As Senator Monning stated in his opening comments, with the floor amendments he's willing to take to push back the interest rates, we will happily remove our opposition and thank the sponsor and author for all of the work that's been done so far on amendments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Individuals from the public in opposition.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Kevin Pedrati representing Erickson Living. We remain opposed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other individuals from the public in opposition? Seeing none, Department of Finance?
No file.
Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Mr. Monning, would you like to close?
Respectfully ask for your aye vote in the recommendation of the chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a due pass recommendation with the motion from Quirk, a second by Wood. This bill is out on a B roll call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mendoza. Mr. Mendoza, you have 2 suspense items, and then you have 1 due pass recommendation, SB 792. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to present SB 792 and waive presentation on SB 330 and SB 476.
Thank you so much, Mr. Senators. Please begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I'm here to present SB 792, which protects young vulnerable children by making sure that those who care for them in child care settings are vaccinated against serious contagious illnesses. Until they are fully vaccinated.
Second.
They moved. Mr. Chair, I could stop at this point, make it
Just
go
briefly.
Just to note here that the committee analysis notes that the cost to the Department of Social Services, which licenses these child care facilities, are expected to be minor and absorbable. And with that, I have some witnesses here in support.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Mr. Chair, members. Kat DeBerg with the Health Officers Association of California, representing the physician health officers who oversee public health in the cities and counties. You have an excellent analysis that shows the cost to the state are minimal. I'd also like to mention that the cost of outbreaks, which will be prevented by this this bill, are quite high. A study of a measles outbreak in Utah showed that a single case of measles costs $33,000 in local public health costs, and that's not medical costs, that's not lost wages, that's public health department time doing public outreach, reaching out to people who've had contact with the case of the disease, and work like that. So we urge you to pass the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna Seitz, representing Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors. This is a good public health bill, and we urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Individuals from the public in support?
Rebecca Gonzalez, National Association of Social Workers, California chapter, in strong support.
Thank you. Witnesses in opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Department of Finance?
Department of Finance is neutral on this bill. We think it could decrease the health risk to children at no cost to the state.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, would you like to close?
Mr. Chair, respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We have a motion by Quirk. We have a second by Weber. It's due pass. It's out on an A roll call with Jones. No.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good day.
Mr. Wachowski, your bill's on suspense. I mean, it's a due pass recommendation.
Thank you. Mr. Chair and members, SB 308 is a bill that will make long-needed, meaningful updates to California's bankruptcy laws. I've practiced bankruptcy for a few years, and I can tell you firsthand that these changes are needed. Most people who file for bankruptcy do not have any assets to speak of. As the committee analysis points out, only a small handful of cases involve the homestead, and fewer than 10 in any year involve a claim for state or local government claims. Even with these few priority claims, they receive a priority.
Move the bill.
Second.
I urge and I vote.
You were waiting for that, weren't you? We have a motion by Quirk, a second by Weber, but please proceed with your witnesses briefly.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ike Schulman. I'm a bankruptcy attorney in San Jose, California, appearing on behalf of the National Association of Consumer Bankruptcy Attorneys in support of the bill. I just wanted to mention that I've reviewed the analysis of the committee, and I believe the committee gets it right. This bill will have negligible impact on state finances. I also wanted to mention that I did have an opportunity to review a recent opposition letter from the California Department of Finance. Wanted to point out to all of you that that letter unfortunately uses outdated numbers. It doesn't use the amended dollar amounts of the exemption, which Senator Wachowski has introduced, and dramatically reduced a lot of those exemption dollars. The State Department of Finance analysis is using the old numbers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Individuals from the public in support?
Deputy Attorney General Matt Campbell, on behalf of Attorney General Kamala Harris, in support of the bill.
Thank you so much. Witnesses in opposition?
Morning, Mr. Chair and members. Alex Alanese, California Bankers Association, in opposition to the bill. I think actually the presentation really downplays the fiscal impact going forward. By removing the requirement that you put the equity in your home from the homestead exemption back into the purchase of another house, you're essentially encouraging somebody who has cash available prior to filing for bankruptcy to take that cash, pay down their equity, file for bankruptcy, and claim the exemption and walk away with cash. This bill, the legislature should not be rewarding people who've been very irresponsible with their finances by giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash and then have them thumb their nose at worthy creditors being the state, the local government, small retailers, small banks, and credit unions. This bill rewards somebody with cash and doesn't require them to put the money back into their home. So I would recommend that we would vote no, because you would encourage more folks to take advantage of this loophole and shelter their money. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other individuals from the public in opposition? Department of Finance.
The Department of Finance is opposed to this bill, and we do think it will have some amount of negative impact on tax revenues, primarily due to delayed collections of income and property tax revenues in bankruptcy cases. However, the biggest potential fiscal impact would be for unsecured and non-priority debts, which taxes are not.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Mr. Wachowski, would you like to close?
I would urge an aye vote, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. We have a motion by Quirk, a second by Weber. Do pass. It's out on a B roll call.
Thank you very much.
Senator Liu. Senator, you have one bill on our agenda for today, SB 255, with a due pass recommendation. Please begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members. I'm happy to present this bill on Women's Equality Day. SB 255 updates and clarifies the government code related to the California Commission on the Status of Women and Girls.
Second. We have a motion by Holden, a second by Quirk. Please proceed.
First, thank you. First, it makes an update to the current membership of the Commission. This correction is non-fiscal and reflects the change in duties of the Labor Commissioner, who now acts as the Chief of the Division of Labor Standards Enforcement in the Department of Industrial Relations, a position that no longer exists. Additionally, 255 clarifies that the provisions of the Bagley-Keene Open Meetings Act do not apply to meetings or activities conducted solely for the purposes of fundraising. Specifically, the bill notes that the Commission may conduct fundraising activities that require payment or purchase to attend. The exemptions provided in this bill will allow the Commission to more effectively raise funds and represent a potential general fund cost savings to the state. And I have today Nancy Kirshner-Rodriguez, the Executive Director of the Commission, and a member of the no, she's not a member of the fundraising committee, but she's the executive director if you have any questions.
Thank you so much.
And I ask you for your support in the bill.
Do you have any comments? Or
Sure, I can make quick comments. I've been introduced. We are sponsoring this bill by Senator Liu, and several years ago in the 2012-2013 session, legislation directed the Commission to fundraise to support its operations and program expenses. And we believe the provisions of this bill will give us reasonable flexibility and better guidance for the implementation of fundraising programs while preserving the public's right to very transparent government operations. So we thank you for considering this, and we urge passage.
Thank you so much. Any other witnesses?
Good morning. Sue Vang on behalf of State Superintendent of Public Instruction in support of this bill.
Thank you so much. Witnesses in opposition, individuals in the public in opposition, Department of Finance.
We're neutral on this bill. We don't see any state costs and only the potential for offsets to the general fund support.
Thank you so much. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Ms. Liu, would you like to close?
I simply ask for your aye vote.
Thank you so much. We have a motion by Holden, a second by Quirk. Do pass out on an A roll call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Pavley. You have 3 bills on suspense. I take it you'll be presenting on one of them? Which one would you like to present on?
I would like to present on Senate Bill 226.
Thank you so much. Please begin.
And what I'm here to let you know, Chair Gomez and committee, is Assemblymember Aleo and I and staff have agreed to develop a single bill, adjudication bill. It'll be split into 2 contingently enacted bills. There's peace in our time. And so both staffs, the authors, the sponsors of his bill, the Farm Bureau, have all been working together. We've also been working collaboratively with both the relevant policy committees in the Senate and the Assembly, that means the Judiciary Committee, Water, Parks, and Wildlife, and my very own committee. The final language was just submitted this morning. Technical cleanup, all done. We should be good to go here.
Great.
And that was the recommendation that you suggested the 2 authors work together. We've done just that.
Well, thank you for...
and this is on water adjudication.
Thank you for following that suggestion. I know this was a big issue from last year, and I know a lot of people in the Assembly will be happy that we move this bill
the idea
forward.
is to expedite the adjudication process, which is lengthy and expensive, and get to groundwater cleanup as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Is there any witnesses in support? Individuals from the public in support? Witnesses opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Department of Finance? Oh, do we have? Are you? Come on, Kana. I didn't see you there.
That wasn't a short joke, right?
No. Come on.
Good morning, Chair. Danny Merkley. Danny Merkley with the California Farm Bureau Federation. We have been working closely with the author, and when we get the final language, we've got some typical little glitches and things that may or may not advertently been taken care of. I know Mr. O'Connor, staff, spoke to one of our principal staff working on this morning about some possible little things we need to continue to look at and fix. We're currently in opposition, but we're very pleased with the work that's moving forward.
We've been working on technical cleanup language with the attorneys representing the Farm Bureau, with Dennis O'Connor, and I think we'll be good. Yep.
That'd be great, because you have about 24 hours to get it done.
No problem. And the administration, I should note, we've worked very closely with the administration on taking their advice and suggestions relating to the groundwater bills, and that's all part of the process.
Are you guys going to hug now? It seems a lot of
eventually, we're going to be doing kumbaya.
Department of Finance.
We believe any costs to the Department of Fish and Wildlife or Department of Water Resources would be very minimal, and that there's a potential for court cost savings.
Great. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Ms. Pavley, would you like to close?
I just wanted to update you, and hopefully this will be moved off suspense and onto the floor in both of our respective houses.
Thank you so much, and thank you for working on reaching a mutual agreement on this important bill. Thank you so much. Senator Hertzberg. What glasses are you wearing today?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Mr. Hertzberg. You have 2 bills on suspense, 1 on consent, and 1 due pass recommendation, SB 134.
Yeah, I'll waive presentation on SB 233, and I'm going to waive presentation on SB 286, and I will present on SB 134.
Please proceed.
You know, in this body, Some of the members served on appropriation. On Judiciary Committee when I presented. But in this body, we give all sorts of rights to folks. Rights that deal with people in domestic violence cases or landlord-tenant cases or the like. But how do you actually realize those rights? In most cases, you need a lawyer. And most of those lawyers are public defenders who don't make a lot of money, or public interest lawyers who don't make a lot of money, or district attorneys who don't make a lot of money because they're government employees. They come out of law school with huge
Move
debts.
the bill. We have a motion by Quirk, a second by Eggman, but please continue if you
want.
would like.
I'll make it fast. The bottom line is this: that what I'm trying to do. Some years ago, I created this public interest lawyers program to try to fund lawyers and some of their public debt, their school debt. And so what I want to do now is we're trying to take some money out of interest that gets cheated to the state from the interest on lawyers' trust accounts. And all I want to say is that, your analysis is pretty elegant. The guy who wrote it's a pretty smart fellow. But I just want to close saying this. Let's give it a shot, man. This is a big issue to me, taking care of folks like this. And I'll be here next year, and the year after, hopefully, and the year after, and I'm going to continue to monitor this and figure out ways to fund it so that we can make sure that the kinds of things that we offer to folks, that they have the rights and they have the lawyers to be able to pursue it. So, these kinds of things that you see in the analysis are nothing more than estimates. Are we right? Maybe. If we're wrong, I'm at it again. Ask for your aye vote.
Thank you so much. Witness in support.
Mr. Chairman, members, Dan Filizato on behalf of the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. We are in strong support. District attorneys and public defenders' offices around the state have a very difficult time recruiting and retaining qualified attorneys to do these very important jobs because of the low pay and high debt lawyers have coming out of law school. In addition, I serve on the board of directors of two of the largest crime victims organizations in the state. We provide direct services to victims. We rely heavily on pro bono attorneys to come in and help with domestic violence cases, sexual assault cases, stalking cases, assault cases, in order to get restitution, protective orders, all things like that, housing assistance. And we see a dramatic decline in the amount of hours the pro bono attorneys can afford to do because of their debt. So we strongly encourage an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other individuals from the public in support?
Brandon Biggert with the California Student Aid Commission in support.
Thank you so much. Witnesses in opposition, individuals from the public in opposition, Department of Finance.
No file.
No file, okay. Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none? Would you like to close?
I vote.
Thank you so much. We have a motion by Quirk, a second by Eggman. Do pass out on an A roll call.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, committee members. Do you see those?